Good morning. Welcome back to the Tattered podcast. I don't know when you're watching this, but I'm actually shooting this for Father's Day 2026. Um, and this is a very special message today. Today we honor those fathers that wear a badge, that wear a uniform, and the families that carry the weight of that uniform with them every day. You know, we leave the families out so much, but the truth is every officer is surrounded by a family that's affected by everything that affects them. To the officer dads who've missed dinners, ball games, birthdays, Halloween, we all work Halloween, right? And quiet nights at home because duty called. We see you. Your family sees you. They know you're there. They know what you're doing. To fathers who came home tired and still tried to be present for their kids, who carried things that could not always explain, who worked midnight shift and came home to watch their babies throughout the day, who protected strangers and then walked through the door just trying to be dad. Thank you. Thank you. And I know this personally because during the hardest season of my life, when everything that I had worked for was just unraveling around me, it was my family that first stood in the gap that really got me through. My wife, of course. I've talked about her before. My children, who never doubted their father for a moment, and my parents, whom I'm still blessed to have. You know, a lot of people don't get to keep their parents as long through their life as I have, and I've been very blessed in that way. And the older I get, the more I respect the way my parents raised me, the things they did for me. You know, not having a parent in the home is a tragedy. But I also know some people who lost a parent very young that turned out to be very good men and women. So it's not the end of the world. It's just a blessing when you get to keep them as long as I have. When I came home and my life had exploded, and when the silence got loud, the pressures got heavy, they prayed for me. My mother, God bless her, is a prayer warrior. My entire career, my mother has kept a list of the officers under my command, and she prays for them every day. She prays over them every day to keep them safe. And I could point to several miracles that have happened where officers should have been injured and weren't. One of them drove with 3 blown wheels around a telephone pole that should have T-boned him. How did he do that? I think the prayers had something to do with it. Another one got hit by a car, thrown 50 feet, went in the EMS wagon. The sergeant was convinced he was gone. By the first call I made that night when I left was to my parents. It was about 9 o'clock at night. I never call after 9. My mom and dad know that. They were on the phone with my brother and said, "We got to go. Rusty's calling. Something's wrong." And I said, "I need y'all praying. I got an officer down. He's headed to the hospital. I need prayers." And by the time I got to the hospital, he was talking to us. Now, he was hurt, no doubt, but he should have been killed. And it's an absolute miracle that I credit my mom's prayers for. I hope you have a mom praying for you. If not, you do have good people in this country that say prayers over law enforcement every day. And God hears those prayers. But when my life exploded, my mom prayed. She prayed. She sent me Bible verses. You know, if you've read Tattered, you know, I put Bible verses in there. Well, when my mother and father read the first draft of Tattered, all I had was the Bible verse. I didn't have any scripture references because I didn't want it to feel like I was pushing faith on people, because I don't believe that we change people to faith by shoving it in their face. Well, my mom got on me a little bit and said, "You need to have scripture references." She went through the book, pulled out every single scripture reference, looked it up, and gave me a list of where to put them in the book. So obviously the published version has references, and she said, "You never know, Rusty, one of those references might be the one somebody needs to look up." And she's right. She was right. You know, Tattered became more about faith than I ever intended, but that's good because my faith is a lot of what got me through that season. The kind of love a father has doesn't always make headlines. The kind of love families have for their officers doesn't make headlines, but it saves them. It saves people. Father's Day is a reminder that behind every officer is a family. Parents who worry, spouses who hold things together, who don't sleep good at night when their spouse is on midnight shift or night shift. Children who notice more than we think. My kids saw a lot growing up They learned a lot. And as they've gotten older, they've told me things that they went through because their dad was a cop, or things that they realized because their father was a cop. Things that I missed. I missed. But children notice more than we think. And most police officers, fathers especially today, are just trying to leave their homes while carrying the burdens of a thankless job that's the most rewarding job in the world. Fatherhood and policing both require courage. Both require patience. I'm not good at patience, you know, but we have to learn to be. Both require showing up when it would be easier not to. So today from the Tattered podcast, we say Happy Father's Day to the fathers behind the badge and the families behind them. Celebrate your father today. Love on them. And celebrate the families that are there for our fathers as well. Thank you to the families. If you have a husband or a father or a son or a daughter, I don't care what the sex of the officer is, they're all good people doing good work. Thank you for them. Thank you for allowing them to go out and make the world a better place. When it gets tough, love them. When it gets tough, support them. Always pray for them and help them to stay in the fight. Because they matter. And you as a family member, you matter too. Your family matters and your parents matter. The sun will rise tomorrow. That's one thing I promised in the book. When I got to my darkest point, I remember thinking, the sun will rise, the sun will rise, the sun will rise. One more day. One day closer to conclusion. One day closer to the resolution and what ended up being the findings that put me back on track for a career. So stay in the fight. Do your best. Love on your family this weekend, your mothers and your fathers. I know it's Father's Day, but you know what? Love them both. And if they're still there, make sure you give them a big hug. And give them one from me. A little kiss on the cheek. I'm good with that. Remember, we're the peacemakers. Thank you for all you do.